of built-up compression member. In my last video, I have given you the design steps of the build-up compression member. Also, we have discussed briefly what is the need of going for built-up section. Now, in this video, part 2 video, we will see how to solve a built-up compression member following the steps which we have learned in video 1. Now, I have taken a problem. You can see, design a laced column 10.5 meters long to carry factored axial load of 1000 kilonewton. The column is restrained in position but not in rotation at both ends. Use two channel sections placed as back to back. So in this question, already the section is decided by the question itself. If the choice is not given, like if it is choice here in this problem, we have to use channel section as it is prescribed in the question. Otherwise, you can adopt any section what you wish. But right now, because it is channel section given, we have to go for channel section placed back to back. So following the steps, we will start solving this problem. Now to begin with, I will just draw a rough figure like how your compound or a built-up section looks like. You can see these are the two channel sections, and here a term called laced column means the connecting system is lacing. So they are connected, these two channels are connected by using lacing like this, the lacing. So this is how your built-up section will look like. So let us start the problem using the design steps which we have learnt in the previous video. So step 1 was to determine the effective length. So effective length depends upon the end condition. Depends upon the end conditions of the support. Now in the given question, it is given that both ends are restrained in position but free to rotate. Not in rotation means it is free to rotate. So if you refer table 11, you will get the rotation factor KL. Table 11 of IS 800. Table 11 of IS 800. If you refer the table, you will find what is the value of K for the given end conditions. So now you can refer, we will find that K value as 1 for the end conditions given, that is both ends are held in position but not in rotation. So K value is 1, therefore L effective is equal to 1 into 10.5. Effective length, we got it. So with this our first step is completed. Now let us move to the second step. As I have discussed in my earlier video, either you can adopt some slenderness ratio between 30 to 60 and find FCD. Using table 9C of 9C. Why 9C? Because compound section or built-up section buckling curve is C. So using table 9C, for this any assumed slenderness ratio, you can find FCD. Or the other way I have discussed was to assume some value of compressive stress, that is FCD. Assume FCD, that is assume axial compressive stress compressive. So these are the two methods. You can go either that method or this method. If you assume directly the compressive stress, then there is no need of the step 3 again. Directly where this step 3 is becoming step 2. Assume axial compressive stress FC anything between 0.4 Fy to 0.6 Fy. Okay. So now right now I will assume FCD as 0.6 Fy. As the material what we will be using, what steel we will be using is not given in the question. So always we go for steel of grade Fe 410. If it is not mentioned, we go grade 410 for the rolled steel section. It is by default. So steel of grade 410. Fu will be 410 Newton per mm square and Fy will be 250 Newton per mm square. So we can find out FCD in step 2 itself instead of step 3. Okay, so we get FCD is equal to, if I take 0.6 into 250, I will get the design compressive stress as 150 Newton per mm square. Remember, this is one assumed value. Finally, when we design the built-up section, definitely we will calculate the compressive stress of that built-up section. Okay. Now, let us go to step 3. So, step 3 is merged now. We'll get the next step will be finding the area. Find area required. Using the formula A is equal to P by PU by FCD. So, PU is 1000 kilonewton. Let us convert that into Newton by stress is 150. Area required we get is 6666.67 mm square. So this is how we found the area required for the assumed compressive stress and given axial force. Okay. So with this we have completed third step. Now step 4 will be step 4 and step 5 I can say, like design step mate is step 5, and now I have taken, because directly I have taken FCD, our step 4 will be the step 5 given in the first video. So step 4 will be selecting or adopting the channel section, because already it has been said in the question to use the channel section. So we have to go for adoption of a particular section. So in this we are going to take channel section. So in channel sections also we have so many, like ISLC, ISMC. So you have to choose it as per the requirement. So whatever you choose, it should have an area a little bit more than what we require, what we obtain in step 3. So choose a built-up section. So this step is selecting a built-up section so that total area becomes more than the required area calculated in the above step. So let us try. See, this is trial and error. This is trial and error. So you have to see the steel tables. In the steel tables, you just see channel sections, because channel section is given by the question. Go to the channel sections. Select a section which will provide you an approximate area of this one. Okay. So let us try. Let us try to. So suppose this is 6666.67. So for single angle it should be 3333.32, whatever it is. Okay, 33. So whatever it is for single and channel section, whichever you select, this should be the area. So that when you, I mean a little bit more than this, so that when you built up with 2 sections, you get area more than the obtained in step 3. So let us try to ISMC, Indian Standard Medium Weight Channel Section 250. This 250 is the depth of the section. Okay, at 298.2 Newton per meter. So once you select a built-up section, you have to find out its property, or you have to copy its property from the steel tables. You have to take down what all values are there, we have to take down. the relevant properties of ISMC. Relevant properties of ISMC 250. So you can get either this from steel tables or from table 2 of SP 6 1964. So when we see the table ISMC 250, you will find area of a single channel section will be 3867 mm square. So if you say this will be more than 7,600, requirement was 6,600. Single it is 3,867. If you multiply it twice because you are using two sections, it will be more than 7,600. So this will be okay. Then you find out, you just take down the value of the radius of gyration about ZZ axis from the steel tables, corresponding value 99.4 mm. Also RYY, radius of gyration about YY, it is 23.8 mm. Now what I discussed in my video 1 is clear here. You see, about Z axis the radius of gyration is more, and about Y axis it is too less. So what happens is the column may buckle or it may fail about y-axis before it can take up the full load. So that is why we go for built-up section. Then also you can copy or you can take down the value of the moment of inertia IZZ from the same steel tables. So in the row you can find out all these values 10 to the power of 4 mm to the power 4. Fine. Then IYY is 219.1 into 10 to the power of 4 mm4. So just take down all the relevant values from the IS 800 steel tables. And this is CYY, the centroidal axis, centroid of the channel section about Y axis, that is 23 mm. And width of the channel section flange is 80 mm. Okay, so this is, if I draw a single channel section, so this is B, which I have taken as 80 mm. This is depth, which is 250 mm. What about this CYY, which I have written? You can see its centroidal axis will be somewhere here. Okay, so this distance is CYY. And this distance will be CXS or CZZ. Okay, all the data which is required for the calculations I have copied down in this step. Okay, now you have to check out whether the area what we are getting for the built up section is more than the provided or not. So area of the built up section is equal to 2 into 3867. So this comes out to be 7734 mm square. You can see it clearly, it is more than what was required. So I hope you remember the required was 66.67 mm square. So the section ISMC what we have selected is okay from the area point of view. Okay. In the design of built-up section, with two sections, the sections are so spaced that the radius of gyrations of the built-up section becomes as large as possible. So that is as I already told you, that is why we are going for built-up section. Okay. Now, in the next step is step 5. Yes, in the next step 5 will go. We'll find out the arrangement. Okay, we'll find out the arrangement. Therefore, the radius of gyration, we have in the design of built-up section with two sections. The sections are so spaced that the least radius of gyration of the built-up section becomes as large as possible. That is, the radius of gyration about y-y axis has to be increased so that it becomes equal to or more than the radius of gyration about zz axis. You have to set it in such a way, you have to arrange in such a way that the radius of gyration about y axis shall be either more than or at least equal to the zz. So the arrangement should be such a way we should do it. This can be achieved by spacing the sections. As I already told you, this can be achieved. What? The higher radius of gyration can be achieved by spacing the sections in such a way that RZZ becomes minimum. RZZ becomes R minimum. So we should see that RZZ is R minimum, not RYY. Are not RYY. So before going to that arrangement, let us first check the safety of the section which we have selected, whether the selected section is safe or not. Okay, because we have opted FCD as 0.6 FCY, whether this is 0.6 FY. 0.6 Fy. So we have to see whether we have selected is same or not. So for that, we'll find out the slenderness ratio. Slenderness ratio is equal to KL by R minimum. That is effective length by R minimum. As we have said you that RZZ should be minimum. That is RZZ will be 99.4. We have just in the above step we have found out RZZ as R minimum because we want to obtain RYY more than RZZ. In such a case, RZZ will be R minimum. So we are taking RZZ value as R minimum. So KL is 10.5 meters, okay, divided by R minimum. So we got it as 105.63. 105.63 as my slenderness ratio. No units, it's a ratio. Okay. Now, if you see as clause 7.6.1.5 as per clause 7.6.1.5 of IS 800 2007, you'll find that the effective slenderness ratio for built-up section, will be 1.05 times what you obtain for the non-built-up section. So this has to be increased if your compression member is built-up section. So now the effective slenderness ratio will be 1.05 into 105.63. Okay, this we are getting it as 110.91 and this is less than 180. 180 is the limiting slenderness ratio or the maximum slenderness ratio which the IS 800 has given in table in one of its table. For compression member it is given as 180. It is given as 180. Okay, so that means whatever FCD we have taken, that is safe. Okay, that is okay. The table is table 3. So this 800 is given in table 3. If you refer table 3, you can see a member carrying compressive loads resulting from dead load and imposed load, the maximum effective slenderness ratio is 180. So what we have selected is fine. Okay, the effective slenderness ratio is now 110.91. Right? Now, we will go to the next step. We'll go to the next step, that is determination of the compressive stress, then the load carrying capacity. Now for the obtained slenderness ratio, that is 110.91, and the given yield strength 250 Newton per mm square, we have to refer the table 9C. Table 9C, because it's a built up section, it belongs to buckling class C. So referring these two, for these two values, we have to find out the design compressive stress FCD. Okay, we have to find out the design FCD stress. So you have to go for interpolation. Okay, so we will have the value of 110 and value of 120. We don't get directly when you refer the IS buckling tables 9C, 9A, 9B, 9C, directly we won't get. We have to do interpolation. Now here, if you refer the table 9C on page number 42, for the value of 180 and 190 it is there. Sorry, 110 and 120 it is there. We don't have directly for 10.91. So for 110 and for 250, we have the compressive stress as 94.6. Okay, and then for 120 it is 83.7. So we have to go for interpolation. 94.6 minus 83.7, the difference is 10 between 110 and 120. So all of you know how to interpolate. So by interpolation you will get the value of FCD for the built up section. So we got that as 93.61 Newton per mm square. So once you get this, the compressive stress, now the next step is to find out the strength or the load carrying capacity. Okay, so the load carrying capacity you can call, or the design strength you can call. So load carrying capacity of the adopted built up section, PD is equal to, that is the design strength is equal to effective area of the built up section multiplied by the FCD of the built up section. So effective area was 7734 mm square, and this is 93.61. So the value will be quite big. So let us divide it by 10 to the power of minus 3 so that we get the load carrying capacity or the design strength PD as in kilonewtons. So we got PD as 93.61 kilonewton, which is less than. The given is less than PU. How much is given? It was given as 100,000 kilo. I'm sorry, I have to just do the calculations. Okay, when you multiply the 773.7734 area with 93.67, you are getting it as 723.98 kilonewton. 723.98 kilonewton, which is much less than the load it is subjected to, that is 1000 kilonewton, which is not safe. Which is not safe. If it is more than, then okay, your design was completed. Only the thing was left over was to find out the spacing. But now because the section has failed, which is not safe because it is unable to carry 1000 kilonewton. So we have to go for step 4, that is selection of the section. Which one? That was your step 4. Yes, step 4 to step 6 has to be step 4, step 5 and step 6 has to be repeated by adopting some other section. So we have to go for another section now. We have to go for another section. Earlier we have gone for ISMC 250, which is not sufficient. So now we will go for a higher section. So this is try ISMC 300. If it is more, then your problem is finished. The only thing left over was to calculate the spacing between the two channels. Now it is ISMC 300. We'll go for ISMC 300. That is, depth of the section is more. It was 250 at that time. Now it is 300. The weight is 351.2 Newton per meter. So let us write down what are the relevant properties of the new selected section. Relevant properties of ISMC 300. So what all we copied earlier, we taken down. Same thing for ISMC 300 we have to take. So area of this is still more. It is 4564 mm square. RZZ is 118.1 mm. RYY is 26.1 mm. You can see once again there is so much difference between RZZ and RYY. So the YY axis, the section about YY axis is weak. It may buckle at that. So we will try to make, by considering the built up section, we will try to increase the RYY more than RZZ. So RZZ becomes R minimum. I hope you are following it. Now the thickness of flange will be, thickness of flange in this case is, of course we don't require it right here, 13.6 mm. Then IZZ is 6362. This is from your steel tables, into 10 to the power of 4 mm to the power 4. Then IYY is 310. You can see even the variation in the moment of inertia, such a big variation. You can see. So we have to increase the moment of inertia about YY axis, which is possible by arranging them in such a way that IYY becomes or more than or equal to IZZ. In that way we will arrange the individual sections. So this is how you are going for a repeated. Step 4 we have repeated again. This was your step 4 second cycle. I can write it like this, second cycle. Then we will go for step 5. Step 5 may we have found the area required. Area provided. So area provided will be, whatever I have written in step 4 is for one channel section. We are providing two channel section. So that will be 2 into 4564. 4564. So that is coming as 9128 mm square. Obviously it is more than your 6667 point this one. Now let us see what is the new slenderness ratio now. The new slenderness ratio, that is lambda is equal to KL by R minimum. Now your R minimum is now RZ. Okay, I'll write it once again. RZ will make R minimum as RZ. So this is 10.5 as it is. Okay, now new RZ is, you have written just now, it is 118.1. 118.1. Okay, 118.1. So your new slenderness ratio is becoming 88.91. But we have to increase this for built up sections. For built up section, as I already repeated this part, built up section from clause 7.6.1.5 of IS 800. Okay, the effective slenderness ratio is 1.05 times of the calculated slenderness ratio. So 1.705 into 88.91. So this is coming to be, this is 93.95. Once again, it is less than 180 because the maximum slenderness ratio is limited to, for compression member, is limited to 180. So this is okay. Slenderness ratio is, from the slenderness ratio point of view, the section chosen is okay. This is only from slenderness ratio point of view. Again, we have to see it from the design strength point of view also. Okay, section is okay. So let us go for the calculation of FCD. In the next step, I think step 6.2 it is. That is the repetition of sixth step. Design compressive stress we have to find out. Okay, design compressive stress from table 9C for lambda E is equal to 93.595 and Fy is equal to 250. So once again referring table 9C and also by interpolation, like this is 93.95. So you have to see the value between 90 for lambda value 90 and for lambda value 100. In between those two, you have to find out FCD and then interpolate it. Then interpolate it, you will get the value of FCD. So if you refer table C for 90, for slenderness value of 90, you will get the stress of 121. For slenderness ratio of 100, you will get a stress of 107. So we have to interpolate it. So from interpolation, we get the value as we get the stress value as compression stress as 116.31 Newton per mm square. Now once you get this, you can easily calculate the design strength. Okay, so your step numbers may be varying, but problems are followed according to the step. Okay, maybe this is 7th or 6th, need not worry. So I'll calculate the load carrying capacity for the second section adopted. That is the design strength, which the built up section you have selected, you are adopting, how much it can carry, we'll find out. PD is equal to equivalent area multiplied by the FCD. So we get the design strength as equivalent area was 9128 for the two members, 9128, and this is 116.31 Newton per mm square. So the value will be quite big. So let us divide it by 10 to the power of 3 to get the answer in kilonewtons. So the design strength we are getting is 1061.68 kilonewton. So this is more than, the PU value, that is 1000 kilonewton, that is the axial load happening on the, coming on the member. Okay, so coming on the member, it is more. So the section now you have selected ISMC 300 is okay. ISMC 300 is okay. So we have confirmed now. So because it has, in the first trial we couldn't get the design strength, so we have gone for a second trial. So let us provide two channels. Let us provide two channels ISMC 300 back to back. So this is, now arrangement is left over. Arrangement means the spacing between the two channels. That is the only part we have to get it. Spacing will be decided on the basis of, now this is an important point. Now spacing, how we are going to decide. Spacing is decided on the basis of equal strength from each direction. spacing is decided on the basis of equal strengths in both the directions about Z as well as about Y. Okay, so let us calculate that. Spacing is our next criteria. So what you have to do is IZZ shall be made equal to IYY. IZZ, this is the criteria. So IZZ, so let us see here, I am just going to show you a rough figure. Okay, so this is ZZ. Okay, so IZZ will be, because there are two channel sections, 2 IZZ will be equal to, now this is, you can see this is merging. Okay, like just to see here, whether it's a single or whether it's a composite built up section, ZZ remains same either for individual or for this. But when you go for YY, you can see the YY axis of individual channel section is here. Okay, YY channel of the individual channel is here, whereas built up channel is here. This is the built-up channels YY axis. So we have to use parallel axis theorem. We have to use parallel axis theorem here. Now this is the distance between the two axes. Okay. So this we have to use parallel axis theorem. Now you can see here that this is the spacing S between the two channels S. Then this will be S by 2. This will be S by 2. Okay, this will be S by 2. And then what about this one? This one. This is CYY. I already told you. This is CYY. So the distance between the single channel section and the built up angle section YY axis is S by 2 plus CYY. So we have to use parallel axis theorem when you want to find out the moment of inertia about the YY axis of the built up section. Whereas about ZZ axis, the ZZ axis of the single roll steel section and the built up section is same. So that concept which already many of you know it, I am using here. So this is IYY of the single channel section plus using parallel axis theorem, that is area into distance between the two parallel axes. So S by 2 plus CYY whole square. So this is how this concept you have to use when you want to find out the distance, because all the data is available to you except S. So we can find out S from this. We can find out S. So let us calculate 2 into IZZ. So IZZ of the selected section is, already we have written in the relevant properties. So from that we can take out 6326.6 into 10 to the power of 4 is equal to 2 into IYY was 310.8 into 10 to the power of 4 plus area of the built up sections, single built up section, single channel, that is 4564 into S by 2 plus CYY also we have written in the relevant properties. This is how, when you equate it, only unknown is S. So you get S after calculating, after doing the calculations as 183.1 mm. So this is the distance required so that your IZZ, IYY becomes equal to IZZ. Okay. So let us provide or let us keep the channel at 184 mm. Minimum was 183. You can go 190 also. Let us keep the channels one at a spacing of 184 mm. Okay, so simply you can draw some rough figure. In the end of the problem, then you can show the, so this is a problem where we are just designing it. Okay, not the, like we are not designing the lacing system still. Okay, this problem is only the design of built up section. So still lacing system is also to be designed. Lacing system has to be designed. So it's a separate topic, because when the problem comes in the examination, we have to do the lacing system also. So in my next problem, in my next video, I will solve a problem of a built up section, design of a built up section with lacing. Hope you have understood my video. Okay, so watch for my next video for the another problem, built up section with lacing. Bye everyone.